Good evening, YouTube. This is Nate, your Oklahoma dude here, and today I want to welcome you to the very first episode of Oklahoma Dude. So, general layouts of the episodes are we will always be trying a beer, and we will always be trying a hot sauce. I will also bring in some news articles, catch my interest, worlds of science, humor, you know, and some interesting rock and metal news. I love rock and metal news. Keep it close to my heart. So today we're going to start out with Arrogant Bastard. Now, a lot of people, particularly on the West Coast, may actually be familiar with this beer. It comes from California, and it's a very, very aggressive beer. As a matter of fact, it says so on the can. So one of my favorite things is the tagline, right? Not sure if you can see that, but it says you're not worthy. It's great. On the back has fun little paragraph. This is an aggressive beer. You probably won't like it. It is quite doubtful that you have the taste or sophistication to be able to appreciate an ale of this quality and depth. We would suggest that you stick to safer and more familiar territory. Maybe something with a multi-million-dollar ad campaign aimed at convincing you it's made in a little brewery, or one that implies their tasteless, fizzy yellow beer will give you more sex appeal. Gee, I wonder which companies do that. Perhaps you think multi-million-dollar ad campaigns make a beer taste better. Perhaps you're mouthing your words as you read this. At Arrogant Brewing, we believe that pandering to the lowest common denominator represents the height of tyranny, a virtual form of keeping the consumer barefoot and stupid. Brought forth upon an unexpecting public in 1997, Arrogant Bastard Ale openly challenged the tyrannical overlords who were brazenly attempting to keep Americans chained to the shackles of poor taste. Since the very beginning, Arrogant Bastard Ale has reveled in its unprecedented and uncompromising celebration of intensity. There have been many nods to Arrogant Bastard Ale, even outright attempts to copy it, but only one can ever embody the true nature of liquid arrogance. Very interesting paragraph. I think the best part is in the questions or comments paragraph. If you don't like this beer, keep it to yourself. We don't want to hear from any sniveling, yellow beer drinking wimps, because this beer wasn't made for you. Very interesting take on the whole thing. Now, of course, naturally, if we're going to drink a good beer, I want to try my hardest to find a glass brought forth by the company to pour it into. And so, we have our Arrogant Bastard Ale glass. Love this thing. Bought it at World Market in Amarillo back in 2013, I want to say. Just rough ballpark estimate. Very good quality made. I don't really care how I wash my dishes. I just throw them in the dishwasher and pray for the best. And it really holds up real well. All right. Now, one thing I do like about this beer is it's, as I said before, it's not for everyone. You know, I got a story just as soon as I take a nice sip of this. I love it. So, this beer, I think the best way to put it would say it attacks the taste buds. It is a beer that punishes you as you drink it. I'm not a beer expert, but best way I can put it is it's got tart and bitterness to it, and I assume that's going to come from the way that they brew it. A little imbalance of hops to malts. But this beer has never failed me, um, and it's also led to some interesting attempts to get other people to drink it. I remember whenever my dad and I were in a bar one time, and I ordered it, and he's a domestic drinker. I'm not going to fault him for it. No one's perfect, right? So I let him take a drink out of mine. And I think at that point, I was about that close to being disowned. He did not like it. So, but yes, I like it. It's a interesting take, you know, and I always keep at least a 6-pack stocked. So check it out. It might be worth your time. So, moving on to our next section. Today in history. And I'm going to apologize right now if the camera keeps autofocusing. So it gets dark and it gets light. I got some weird transition going on. Still trying to work through that. If you have any suggestions on how to improve it, let me know. I got a basic laptop setup, small Logitech webcam, and a backlight coming from the lamp. So, anyway, today in history, 1920. The United States Postal Service came out with a new regulation stating that children were to not be mailed by parcel mail. Okay, first off, who in their right mind says, well, okay, I'm going to mail my kid? Now, things may have been different in the 1920s. I understand that, we were just coming out of a war. And, sometimes, unfortunately, the parents didn't come home. So, they were left with relatives who ship them to other relatives. But where in your thought process do you think that you should just slap a postage stamp on your kid and send them off? Who does that? Well, anyway, interesting fact, boggles my mind. That's kind of a short segment, so I'm going to throw in something else. Also today in history, the United States House of Representatives passed the 14th Amendment, which abolished slavery. 2 years later, on this very same day, that was the first African American serving in a public office in Louisiana. He was a lieutenant governor. You can look up more on that if you want his name. I had it in my head, forgot about it. It happens. So, moving on, rock and metal news. Like I said, keep it close to my heart. So, this comes from blabbermouth.net. Feel free to check them out. Very interesting rock and metal news website. But it was an article where they had interviewed Dave Windorf of Monster Magnet. Now, you may have not listened to Monster Magnet since the late 90s, They've had a couple of interesting songs. Space Lord was one, Unbroken, Power Trip, the list goes on. But they just came out with an album a couple months back called Mindfucker. And album stays true to Monster Magnet. I personally enjoy it, Altogether, my personal favorite album period was Last Patrol. You can argue with me in the comments. Go right ahead. But he comes forward saying that the album Mindfucker was inspired by the current state of U.S. politics. And I'm going to try my hardest to avoid political talk on this channel. If you want to read or hear about politics, many reputable sources, NPR, Reuters, all of them, Associated Press, check them out. Develop your own opinion after reading several articles. Critical thinking, folks. It'll save your lives. But I think it's nice that, he would come forward and say this. Now, in the article, which, once again, feel free to read it, he never specifically states whether it's a good mindfuck or a bad mindfuck. He's kind of keeping himself neutral on that. I respect that. So, another fun fact about Monster Magnet. In Marvel's Deadpool series, the character Negasonic Teenage Warhead was named after the Monster Magnet song of the same name. Hey, it's an awesome name no matter what platform. So, and that really concludes your rock and metal news. So, now we're going to move into the fun portion. Fun for me, fun for y'all, because you can watch my suffering. Who doesn't like that? So, today we are trying a hot sauce. Now, this is going to be a new hot sauce for me, and possibly for some of you. This is Pain 100%. Now, on the back it says rated 100%. There are several levels of pain. The pain levels are marked with the percent of pain you experience. The higher the percent, the more pain and less flavor. Although there are chili heads that will argue that the more the pain, the better the flavor, we will let you decide. So, on the Scoville scale, which in my test video I had mentioned how it's rated, but the Scoville scale starts out at the very bottom with bell peppers, which are 0 Scoville. Your jalapeno will range from 5,000 to 8,000 Scoville. Your regular habanero will range from 135,000 to 250,000. Then you got your ghost peppers from 800,000 to 1,000,000. Then from there you got your Trinidad scorpions, which come in at 1.25. I want to say 1.25 million. Then you have your world record holder, previously world record holder, the Carolina Reaper, which came in at a toasty 1.8 to 2.4 million Scoville. And of course, soon to be the world's hottest pepper is Pepper X from Puckerbutt Farms. And it measures in at 3.2 million. Now, for a little bit more comparison, military grade pepper spray comes in at 5 million Scoville. The lethal dosage of capsaicin, the active ingredient in peppers that causes the heat, the lethal dosage is 10 million. Now, that's off of the regular human body. I've seen several pepperheads who have ingested stronger than that and survived. I don't think I'm up to that level. So, anyway, now that we've gone over that, I'm going to crack this open. Now, as you can see, the seal still on it. Like I said, I've never tried this before, so we'll see how it goes. Oh, come on. For future broadcasts, the seal may not be on, simply because I have to pre-stage it so that I'm not wasting your time, and I'm not wasting my time. So, There we go. If all else fails and you can't find a knife near you, just use a bottle cap. The rough edging on it can take off anything. So, got Pain 100% and a nice spoon. Tablespoon, actually. So, oop. Well, the smell is very peppery, but need to shake that shit up. Got some clogging at the top. All right. Oh, come on. Normally, I would just stop and start over, but I don't feel like it. This is completely raw and unedited. So everything that you see, it's not been edited. I've not done multiple takes, So if something happens, it happens. All right, here we go. Pours on thick, I can already tell. Come on, there we go. Oh, yeah. That looks like a healthy portion. All right, look at that. That is nice. So, if you watch my test video, you'll know I'm not a big fan of vinegar, right? The good news about this, I can already tell, it does not have vinegar. Well, it doesn't have a lot of vinegar, pardon me. Anything that is sealed in a bottle will, especially hot sauces, will particularly have some value of vinegar, and that's because it acts as a natural preservative. So, well, down the hatch. Well, the pain hits you, or not the pain, but the burn hits you right away. I got my taste buds working. Oh, yeah, that's good. So, of course, the main ingredient in this one was habanero peppers with water, tomato paste, natural pepper flavoring, salt, and spices. And it is courtesy of Juan Specialty Foods. So, I'm going to sit here, sip on my beer, enjoy the burn. I tell you what, that will clear out your sinuses, though. All right. So, in science news, big fan of science, In Lake Superior, the Isle Royale forest is introducing a new wolf population to rebuild. And now, naturally, a lot of people around the area are against this idea. Ooh, got my taste buds watering. So, here's my thoughts. Now, they're just reintroducing a wolf population. So, it existed before. Now, the biggest thing I have is when you take a dominant species out of an area, you tend to have overpopulation of the prey, which has been a problem for this area because their deer population is getting out of control to the point where the bag limits for deer have increased. So, I think adding some wolves back to the environment, will help deal with that because deer will go onto farmlands and eat the crop. Now, a lot of farmers are worried because they're worried that the wolves will eat their livestock. But now, while wolves may be opportunistic predators, here's my thing. If you don't want something in your area, put up a bigger, fence line. There are ways to keep wolves away from your farmland. People in some states have been doing it for years, centuries. But personally, I'm all for it. Now, not everyone is. Once again, everyone is entitled to their own opinion. We all come from different backgrounds. So, if you got an opinion, feel free to share it in the comments. So, but let's move on from that. Feel good news. Oh, this is great. So, got two pieces here for you. First one comes from our friends at Domino's Pizza. Now, ask anyone who knows me, I love Domino's. Actually, I love pizza in general. But Domino's is starting contests where you can vote for a pothole in your roads, and Domino's will come and fill it. Now, of course, their spokesman has said that the biggest benefit of this is fewer potholes mean fewer maintenance issues for their drivers, which means that their drivers can arrive at your house safely to give you your pizza. So no delays. That's great. And they're doing a public service. Yeah, it may be a gimmick, just something temporary. But hey, it's going to give other companies, another more ideas. I'm sure everyone remembers when Pornhub actually brought out snow plows and started plowing roads. That's not something you expect from that kind of company. No. But they did it. And you know what? It works. Every little bit helps, The second feel-good story for the day. Country Time Lemonade, a subsidiary of Heinz and Kraft, has put together a law team to help kids who are facing fines from their local cities for opening lemonade stands without permits. Now, here's my thing. Fuck those cities. I will say, all right, an adult opening a business without permit, yeah, no, go after them. Go after them. They know the law. But how are kids supposed to be taught just basic economics, be able to earn a little extra money, and do something good for their community if they can't have lemonade stands? Why do we have to regulate little kids doing this kind of stuff? This is ridiculous. And what's crazy is the same people who are implementing these controls on little kids, without a doubt, had lemonade stands of their own when they were younger. Unpermitted lemonade stands. So these folks are hypocrites. Let the kids earn a little extra money. Let them do their thing, I mean, hell, be happy they're outside. All this talk about, kids are only staying on the internet. But, of course they're staying on the internet when every time they try to go out and do something, you ruin it for them. Case in point, look at Pokemon Go. Right? It was pretty basic, pretty simple, right? You go outside, you meet people, and you collect these virtual monsters. I'm not going to pretend like I didn't play it. I played the shit out of it. But it was a time that, honestly, I think for a couple of months, people were happy. People were getting outside, getting some sun, getting a tan, losing some weight, because once again, exercise. And the media looked at it and said, oh no, this could have negative implications. So they started targeting all these little things. Finding a dead body, which, I mean, I'll be honest with you, you can walk down a Jersey Shore and find a dead body. You don't even have to be playing a video game. And some muggings, because naturally human beings are trash. But you get in there and you try to find something to help kids, to get people outside, and the media will shit all over it. Anyway, I'm pissing myself off right now by talking. So, pretty basic, pretty simple. Moving on, I'm actually at the end of what I have drawn up. So, I'm just going to finish with this proverb, right? It comes from all religions, all texts, all philosophies, right? If it harms none, do what you will. It's pretty basic, pretty simple, You can go out and have a lot of fun, right? Just make sure that your fun isn't at someone else's expense. A lot of people forget about that, And on the flip side of it, a lot of people look at someone who is having a good time, right? They're not harming anyone, but they'll criticize them for it. They'll judge them for it. Well, you know what? Life is way too short to be wasting your time judging other people. Enjoy it, I mean, we're not getting out of this alive. Let's be honest, So, yep. Just kind of summarize everything. Had some Arrogant Bastard Ale. Still sipping on that. By the way, these come in 16-ounce cans, but most beer glasses only hold 12 to 14. So you get a little extra icing on the cake. I love it. And of course, tried 100% Pain. Very interesting, very peppery, Certainly cleaned out my sinuses. Actually kind of gummed up the back of my throat. I'm sure y'all heard that. Going to have to blow my nose a couple times after this. But, hey, no snot running down my nose. That's always good. So, I certainly hope y'all enjoyed this video. And let me know if there's anything I can do to improve it. And, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe if you do enjoy this. If not, I can't force you to do nothing. Go about your merry way, and I hope you have a wonderful day. All right, this has been Nate, your Oklahoma dude, and I wish you all a good night.